Hello everybody, welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube and Twitch channels. I am here on this Thursday evening and I am sorry in advance because I'm in a lot of pain. But I am going to try not to be boring, and I'm going to try to be peppy, and I hope you guys are ready because we're gonna jump into some internet craziness, some Diddy stuff, and question period. We've got all that to go through right now, and then later on tonight, after the kids go to bed, we're gonna finish off the story mode for Mortal Kombat. And let me tell you, I after doing some cleaning and stuff today, I was in practice mode with Noob Cybot and Janet Cage, and oh my god, are they fun. I cannot wait to take those two online. But hello. Hello. And so I am happily waiting to get through all this craziness that we have awaiting us. And it's getting insane. We're gonna save the political stuff till the end, I think. Just to keep things interesting. But apparently the stuff with Diddy is getting even crazier, and Fresh and Fit is just getting nuts. With Walter is standing up to Myron apparently, and it's just everything is falling apart everywhere on the internet, in Parliament.
I have to interrupt you for a second.
Okay.
You need to delete that tweet as soon as possible. It has the YouTube link in it.
Why?
Because it says outtube.com/blindpressy.
Jesus.
And if I remember right, I think that might lead some people to some very bad place.
God damn it. Fucking keyboard.
Just delete that and just retweet the one I did. You'll be fine.
Okay.
It's okay. This teaches you you're supposed to what before you hit send?
I can delete the reply, right?
Yeah, just delete the reply. Delete the post if you want to. All right. So, yeah, like I was saying, Diddy's lawyer apparently is an idiot. Charlie's gonna tell us why. We've just got a whole bunch of crazy bullshit to go through. But first, before we get into all of the toxicity and insanity, we're gonna nerd out about a book and a movie. And we're gonna do that because I love the book The Relic by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. It's the very first book that features Agent Pendergast. And when I found out there was a movie, I was really happy. I was really happy about it. And so my grandma and I went out to the store and we rented it, because back then we could do that from a brick and mortar place. And we rented the movie and we came back, and I was all excited to see how they were going to portray Agent Pendergast and his relationship between him and Vincent d'Agosta and the way they solved cases together. And there was no Pendergast. And they weren't in New York City. And it was was so pissed. I was so pissed. I didn't understand how this could... The only thing that was the same was that there was a monster that they called Umbun. And Smithback was there, and D'Agosta was there, and Margot was there. But that was it. And I just... I couldn't understand how they could have a movie without Agent Pendergast in it. Because Agent Pendergast, even though he shows up in like the 16th chapter or the like something like that, chapter 14 or something like that, he shows up a bit later. He's still like a fundamental part of the story, and I was very upset as to why he wasn't in this movie. But we're going to watch a video here called What Happened to the Adaptation of the Relic. And I'm told that this person really liked the movie and hated the book. So it's interesting to take a listen to this video and kind of see the difference of opinion. So let's with all of that backstory in mind, let's listen here to this video.
90s were a great time for adaptations. Jurassic Park is the gold standard, of course, but there was so much more. Crichton also had Sphere and Congo get greenlit and released, while we would see non-horror output like Forrest Gump, yeah really, look it up. Along with that strange book, we would get an adaptation of Shawshank Redemption, which accounts for the greatest film of all time, and Forrest Gump. On the horror side, we would have Silence of the Lambs, the wonderful It TV miniseries, The Exorcist 3. Can
I get any sleep? Such a good movie. I'm sorry, The Exorcist 3 was great. I love The Exorcist 3. It is one of the best sequel movies probably that I've seen.
And a fun little monster movie throwback called The Relic. At the time, I just thought it was a cool creature feature designed specifically for 12-year-olds like me, but looking back all these years later, I found out it was an adaptation of a book by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child in what would be the first of 22 separate stories for
23 now.
One of the chief protagonists. That's all well and good, but how well does The Relic adapt to Relic? Be careful what crates you open up from the jungle as we find out what happened to this adaptation.
It doesn't adapt it at all. Let's see how close he is. Let's see, because I don't think he's read the book. Sphere was great. I've never seen Sphere. I have never ever seen Sphere.
When the book Relic came out in 1985, it was quickly snatched up by Kathleen Kennedy and Frank Marshall, who know a thing or two about producing big movies. From there, it would be produced by Dale Ann Hurd and Sam...
That Kathleen Kennedy? Is it the same Kathleen Kennedy that I'm thinking of?
Mercer, and released by Paramount Pictures. The director chosen was Peter Hyams, and he has quite a fun career resume. He also did End of Days, and the only other thing even close to horror would be A Sound of Thunder. Special shout out to Stay Tuned. While his career ended about 10 years ago, his cinematic catalog is both fun and eclectic. Hyams wanted Harrison Ford to be Lieutenant Vincent D'Agosta.
No, that doesn't fit.
But that would eventually fall to Tom Sizemore.
Yeah, he worked.
Where he got to do some of his best leading work. The character of Dr. Frock could have been also played by a more recent heavy hitter like Alec Baldwin, Al Pacino, Christopher Lloyd, or Robert De Niro.
Lloyd would have been the best one. Lloyd would have been the best Dr. Frock. Just because I know about the book.
As they were all considered, but eventually it went to James Whitmore. Whitmore is Brooks from Shawshank, but also a 2-time Oscar nominee who would be in a million other things,
Hey, Glitch
including
Vision.
other great creature feature, 1954's Them, a personal favorite of mine. Sadly, Tom Sizemore passed in 2023, but he had a hell of a career, and life for that matter, for better and for worse. Just some of my other favorites include True Romance, Saving Private Ryan, Strange Days, and of course Heat. Rest in peace, sir. Yet another star for the movie is behind the scenes, and he's used to that. Stan Winston helped create the creature effects for the movie, and they
Okay, I know
great,
the name
at
Stan
least when they're
Winston.
practical and maybe not in high definition view on a Blu-ray. The movie was filmed at an actual museum, but not the one it's supposed to take place at.
Nope.
The Museum of Natural History in New York was offered 7 figures to shoot there, but between fears of children being scared and the reputation of management given in the book, one of the authors used to work there and wasn't kind in the novel apparently.
They do not paint the museum management at all well in the first book. Ever, really. They kind of get a little better in later books. But in Relic, the director's a complete imbecile, and yeah, no, they do not portray the management well.
They declined. The producers moved to Chicago to shoot at the Field Museum of Natural History.
So that's why. So because the New York Museum was offended by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child's portrayal of management, they were like, and because they didn't want kids to be scared, they were like, no, fuck off. Go away. We don't want your money. But we're offering you millions of dollars. I don't care. I don't care. Take your money elsewhere.
And also a soundstage in LA for the tunnel scenes where Sizemore got the flu twice. The movie was also written by 4 screenwriters, and while that's usually a death sentence, it worked out fine here. Rick Jaffa, Amy Holden Jones, John Raffo, and Amanda Silver collaborated on the project, and combined, they have things like Jurassic World, the new Planet of the Apes movies, Indecent Proposal, and Dragon the Bruce Lee Story. The movie was supposed to be released in 1996, but special effects post-production work would push it to January of 1997.
And why was there no Pendergast?
Where it would be a bit of a flop, grossing $48 million on its $40 to $60 million budget. Relic was written in 1995 by Lincoln Child and Douglas Preston in what would become a series starring the main detective, Pendergast. This would be the start of an absolutely epic amount of collaborative works between the two that would lead to many opportunities. They each have their own books too, including a lot of non-fiction from Preston, but their main output has been together and mostly with Pendergast.
And do you know what adaptation would be amazing? Still Life with Crows. Still Life with Crows would be a fantastic movie. It's a standalone novel. You don't have to know the Pendergast stories, like his backstory or anything to enjoy it. You don't even have to have read the book if they do it well. It's just a fucking scary movie. It's a scary thriller, crime, mystery movie that, done well, would just be, oh my god, would just be amazing. Just the chasing through the cave scenes alone, like, just, ugh, it's so creepy. And I can't, you have to read the book. You have to read Still Life with Crows, because I can't explain it to you without giving away the story. And I don't want to give away the story. But Still Life with Crows would be a fantastic movie if it was done well. Costin! Should you have liked and shared the stream? Always! You should always like and share the stream. You should like and share the stream at all times.
Preston has done a lot of neat extracurricular stuff too, like being involved in the previously mentioned Italian serial killer case, and going on an expedition in 2015 to one of the last unexplored places on Earth. He would later become the president of the Authors Guild in 2019. Child is written mostly in the techno-horror realm when not writing with Preston.
Yeah, Child is responsible for like all the really gruesome shit that goes down in the series, like all the really nasty, gnarly deaths, and like the procedural horror and shit like that. That is Lincoln Child. Douglas Preston is like the archaeological stuff, the historical stuff. That's his forte.
The story follows the exploits of an anthropologist on an expedition in South America looking into a tribe and their culture and monsters.
Yep.
When his ship comes back into harbor, he is nowhere to be found with no sign except his crates. A dock worker is killed, and then a guard at the museum that the anthropologist worked at is also killed, and Vincent d'Agasta is brought into the investigation to see what's going on. Dr. Green and Dr. Frock are questioned about the case, as well as their missing peer, but disregard the whole thing initially. The museum also wants to keep the case under wraps as they're hosting a big gala and opening a new exhibit showcasing superstition and myth from across the globe.
This is true. Most of like the movie's B plot, like the gala, the superstition exhibit, that's true. Except Margot Green isn't supposed to be a doctor; she's supposed to be a grad student. Dr. Frock is supposed to be her thesis advisor.
They look over the crates that were sent to the museum, but they're filled with only plants as packaging without any actual items inside. These plants are later revealed to be rich in a specific type of protein.
In the book, the crates have some artifacts in them. There's a specific statue of a like beast, like reptilian type looking figurine that they are convinced is called Umbun, and they realize that is what the creature is.
Some DNA left behind by the killer reveals itself to be part human. This leads the museum scientists to hypothesize that not only is the killer an ancient creature, but is also in fact their former colleague who sent the plants as food. Furthermore, all the deaths involved
except they don't figure that out until Reliquary, I think. They don't figure out that it was actually Whittlesey until Reliquary. They do figure out it was Whittlesey at the very, very end of Relic.
The thalamus gland being removed, which also ties into the plant's protein. The gala moves forward as planned, but a series of events leads the power being shut down, as well as the security gates going into lockdown for the whole museum. While many guests do escape, a lot of them and museum staff are trapped along with d'Agasta. The creature, who has human intelligence along with a gaggle of other animal DNA, stalks the guests throughout the museum and kills both staff and regular folk.
Yeah, in the book, it kills like 40 people or something like that. It kills a shit ton of people.
A SWAT team comes in to try to save the patrons, but is slaughtered by the creature after it takes out the guests and staff in the main lobby.
Yep.
Most of the civilians are led out of danger via the sewer that crosses the street, while Dr. Green is able to help kill the creature. The overall story is very similar, but there are a few key differences. The movie moves pretty quickly from the doctor story back to the museum part, but the book takes a gap of 7 years between the jungle portion and the museum portion.
Yep.
There's also a lengthy epilogue in the book that sort of deconstructs the details not given during the main story, including what the creature is exactly and what happened to the team that was sent there. Further along in the epilogue is when a character finds out that the creature was the research scientist, Whitney in the movie, Whittlesey in the book. He also learns how to create and perfect the mutagen and plans to sell it as a drug, followed by controlling an army of creatures. The museum staff also knew about what was going on, at least to a degree, and covers it up in the novel.
Yeah. There's a big cover-up in the book. There was like a big blood stain found at one point in like 1989 or something like that, 1990, and they just had it cleaned up and considered it to be like some, random, they just like buried it completely, and it pretended nothing happened.
While the movie has them just blissfully and stubbornly unaware. Regarding the characters, there are a lot of changes ranging from very minor to completely plot changing. 2 kids go missing and are killed in the book, but found alive in the movie.
Yep.
Frock dies in the movie, but goes on to be one of the villains in the sequel book called Reliquary.
That's true. That is true. Frock is one of the main heroes in Relic, but becomes the villain in Reliquary. And the 2 children are, I think, the only 2 children we ever see killed in a Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child book.
One of the main characters of the book, and one that would go on to star in a lot of future books, Pendergast, is nowhere to be seen in the movie. The majority of his role is handled by Dagasta, played by Sizemore, and the Dagasta character in the book is now a younger police officer named Hollingsworth, who does a lot of what Dagasta does in the book.
Yeah, his name isn't even Dagasta, which pissed me off. Like, they didn't even have a Vincent Dagasta. His name was Hollingsworth, which I like. Why did they have to change his name? Why couldn't he be Dagasta? Like, why? Why did he have to be Hollingsworth?
The creature's death in the book happens when Pendergast shoots it in the eye, which also hits the brain, while the movie has Dr. Green final girl it up and blow the thing into bits after tricking it into the office parts of the museum.
Yeah. Which is complete bullshit. So what happens is, in the book, Margot lures it down the longest corridor that Pendergast can use to get off a clean shot, and it's not quite long. It's not quite as long as they thought, and he doesn't have as much time as he thought to get a clear bead on it, and they almost die, and he gets it right in the eye at the last second.
Originally, I had no idea the movie was based on a book, let alone that it had a sequel and that a character would go on to have a hell of a run in their own series. The book is a pretty easy read, and it isn't the best thing I've read for this show or in general, but by those terms, it's not the worst either. The movie holds a special place in my heart, as I said.
It's definitely not their best. Out of the 23 books that they've written about Pendergast, it is definitely not their best work, but it's still a pretty good book.
Saw it in theaters as a 12-year-old and had an absolute blast with it. I still had a great time with the movie now and enjoyed it more than I thought I would on this viewing. The book is a fine book, but if I'm looking to consume this story, I'll stick with the much shorter movie version, even if it's smaller scale and a little dumbed down. If you want a cool literary duology featuring a mythic creature and its origins, check out the 2 books. But if you want to see a fun and at times schlocky creature feature that gives the late Tom Sizemore one of his best roles, go with the movie.
It's an interesting take. That's an interesting take. I would still recommend the book, because there's more to it. There's more story. There's more fun for it, and then there's the second book, The Reliquary, and it expands outward to like the Cabinet of Curiosities and all that, and you'll see returning characters, and it's a great series of books. I definitely highly recommend it. I absolutely recommend those books always. If someone tells me, hey, I'm looking for something to read, I always say Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child, the Pendergast series, because there are so many books, and it'll take you a good amount of time to get through them, and they're all really good reads. That's my take on those books. All right. So, Fresh and Fit were banned on from Twitch like last week, I think. And so I guess now Walter is starting to not put up with Myron's bullshit anymore, because Myron keeps hanging out in these weird like whites only spaces where they call him horrible names and tell him he's not an American. And it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So I'm gonna push play on this, and we're gonna see what Abba and Preach have to say about it.
He's so afraid to take accountability.
Wait, am I wrong? I don't know why that's so funny.
You see Myron get banned on Twitch?
Again!
Myron getting banned on Twitch again.
Idiots!
They got reinstated. The funniest thing happened. So the ban happens, right? Myron goes on this rant about like simps or whatever it is.
Oh, so they got reinstated and then they got banned again?
I guess during it, I think Walter may have said something that he shouldn't have said, one of the words. And so they start arguing about who got them banned.
Yeah.
Simp too many times, man.
Simp?
Yeah.
Bro, what did you expect? You can't do this on Twitch, Fred told you this.
Repeal the 19.
Anyhow,
Women
listen,
can't
I am
vote.
glad
Women can't vote.
Castle Club is now the real frontier. Let's Castle Club, let's go! Let's go! My niggas in Castle Club, let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fine, bro. We'll just stick to Rumble at Castle Club, that's it.
That's funny shit, though.
Told you.
Why you not laughing?
It's a 7-day suspension.
Yeah.
So chat, update.
It's a 7-day suspension for hateful slurs, is what it says.
A 7-day suspension for hateful slurs. Well, stop being so hateful, Myron. Stop spewing the hate. Stop saying those naughty words. We all hate it, but you gotta do it.
So,
Could have been anything.
nigga. 100% that's what it
You
was.
think so?
100% because you said. Yeah.
I don't know, man. You said F streamers, fuck these simps. Comedians.
I guarantee you, it's
We should find out.
because simp isn't a hateful slur. It's,
Let's
I
find out.
promise you, bro.
Let's find out.
Simp isn't it? I love how they're like naming all the possible hate. They're just saying them. Was it this word? Was it this word? Was it this word? Was it this word? I was like, oh my god, just shut up, guys. Why do you have to be saying the word? Like, just don't. That was kind of funny. It was. You're taking a short break from working on Nightingale? Ah. Where am I here? I'm doing a just chatting stream now, and then later on I'm gonna be finishing off the Chaos Reigns story.
I literally have. Wait, is this crazy? Is it Fresh that got us banned?
Nah, bro. Don't put it on me, nigga.
We ain't putting no. I would tell.
Everybody's like, nah. We not put that Fresh.
Miss you!
Nah, we not put that Fresh.
Fresh W.
That's funny. Everybody on the panel's like, no, it wasn't Fresh. No, it wasn't him. No.
We not put that Fresh.
Miss you!
Nah, we not put that Fresh.
Fresh W is what I'm trying to say.
Nah, nigga. I don't want to. Nah, nigga. I'm good.
Do you want me to turn on YouTube?
Nah, bro. I'm telling you, it says hateful slurs. It's 100% because you said Fresh.
Nah.
That's because if it was simp, it would have been bullying.
Bro, we would have been banned regardless.
Look, bro. Look.
Even if it was
for simp,
Either way, we would have been banned regardless.
Either way, we would have been banned Oh, that makes it fine then. Just say all the shit if you feel like, because you would have been banned regardless. Oh, well, that makes sense.
now this nigga saying it would have been banned
Hold on.
regardless.
Did I not call the ban beforehand? Did I not say?
But nigga, you said like that's just like you on Twitch. You know that's an automatic L,
Bro.
Because the last time we got banned on Twitch, it was because we said 100%. That's what it was.
Hold on. We were told over 1,000. You said certain things. I think
You
it matters
were
regardless.
close to buying it today. Better value than the Street Fighter 6 Year 2 Ultimate Pass because of the story content. Well, and the Street Fighter single player isn't accessible to totally blind player. Like, there's no screen reader support for World Tour unless they fixed it. So I haven't messed with Street Fighter 6 in months. And I'm having a great time with I'm on chapter 19 of the story, and it's really great. I can't wait to finish it. Noob Saibot is freaking awesomely fun with Janet Cage. Sector Chameleon is fun. I feel like Sector's kind of button mashy though. Still not fixed. Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's why I'm not into playing Street Fighter, because it feels half accessible to me. And that's why I don't play Street Fighter anymore. Like, I don't mess with it. I'll play it with my kid if he wants to play with me. I'll throw on my headphones and I'll jump into local match with my kid and we'll play. But I don't play online anymore. Like, it gets me too angry.
So either way, yeah, it was for you, nigga.
Nah,
That's what it was.
bruh.
Nigga, take accountability. Bro, literally, it says...
Hold on.
Yeah,
Now they're fighting amongst each other. Take accountability. It's your fault.
Listen, bro, it is what it is.
yeah, I'm just
We're
saying.
controversial.
Yeah, no, of course.
Controversial?
But,
Hey, listen! Somebody question in the chat. Hey, man, I kept it real. I kept it non-PC. We're going all the way.
because if it was bullying,
We're crashing out.
if it said bullying, I would have said, all right, it's
Crashing out.
if it was bullying, I would be like, yeah, that was me saying simp.
W. We're crashing out.
Who's taking care of your cameras? Hyenas?
Fuck you, preach. I was drinking water.
Yeah,
They
they're dying back there, and you
They
look
are.
at
They're-
and you look at
they're
Fresh, and
just
Fresh just be like, "Yo, we
off
kept it
their
real."
rocker.
He's basically mocking Myron because Myron's the one who got them banned before, so he's imitating him. And he's like, "Bro, you're not gonna put that shit on me after you got us banned from the one thing that was making us the most amount of money. You're not gonna put me on this after you did all that shit on YouTube,
he's
and I
right.
warned you." And
Yeah, exactly. He's right. He's right. He's absolutely right. You just haven't found a character. Last MK game you clicked with was X. Are we not good enough for you on Twitch? I'm not seeing the Twitch chats. Yeah. My Twitch app is not showing me any fucking messages. 'Cause, you know, why would it? That would be helpful to me, right? And if I go over to the Streamlabs app to have it speak to me, it's not speaking to me the chat. Also, if I do that, it will blur the screen. So, yeah, that's the shitty part. I'm sorry,
he's
Cannibalistic.
right. And people laugh at Fresh. They say he's a dumb one or whatever it is. And in a lot of ways, he just really is useless. But he's not wrong about this. He's not wrong.
No.
He's not wrong. In this case, he's been telling him, like, yo, why do you guys always got obsessed about talking about these Jews all the time and doing all this conspiracy stuff and bringing
Yup,
it
you
with
did
it?
that a
Right?
couple
And mine's like, I gotta keep it real.
Yeah, Myron's like, I gotta pretend that I'm not a self-hating black man. And I gotta say all this horrible shit about Jewish people. And Walter's like, nah.
Gets him banned, doesn't apologize. You ask Myron to apologize, take care about it. I don't.
But people ask, Myron, do you regret getting demonetized? No, I fucking don't.
And now he's trying to put on Fresh. That's crazy.
Why you pointing
You know
at
how? You know how? Dirty,
Why are you pointing at me when you say Fresh?
Put it to the person beside me. That's you.
Oh.
Thank you. Shit.
Y'all both from the Caribbeans.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
damn.
Going all the way. These platforms. Rumble and Castle Club only.
Newcastle Club, bro.
Let's go, niggas.
That's the funniest this dude has been.
And Myron is bad.
Livid. Vexed.
Yo. So
But it's true though. Like I'm not. It wasn't a set.
Hey,
Jesus Christ, that camera guy is dying. That camera dude back there is just laughing himself to death over there, man. And Walter's like, no, it's not my fault, dude. You can't put this on me. You can't put this on me. You redeemed squats, raises, and stretches twice. Okay, I will do them both. I will do them all twice. I will do them twice each. I will do 20 squats, 20 raises, and 2 stretches. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Alright, and now we'll do the stretch. We'll do one stretch. Holy shit. And now we'll do 20 side raises and another stretch. Where are those kettlebells? There's one kettlebell. Uh-oh. Where's the other kettlebell? I guess I'll have to use the 10-pounders and suffer. Oh well, it's good for me. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whew, 7, 8, 9, 10, taking a break for a minute, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, oh my god, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh my god. Okay. Holy shit. I could still pick it up because I'm hopeful of the 3 of the 4 characters they've got. I don't know, I would pick it up. I think they're adding more content to it. But that's just me. I'm a huge shill for Mortal Kombat. Just because of how accessible it is. Okay. Let's finish up this video.
He's dying! Yo, he's dying!
That laugh is crazy.
Because they're like, bro, you never take accountability. You are never apologetic for all the mistakes you made, but you blame someone else for that?
If it was me, W fresh in the chat, bro. I kept it real to the very end.
No, you said that shit.
No, nigga, the chat said L fresh. I said, okay, let's go all the way.
Yeah, then he said, I was gonna say, you said it because they were pissing you off.
No, I'm not
That's
pissed off.
funny.
I just want to be a part of the team.
Oh shit.
Special team.
Oh man. Oh wow.
Hey, man, W fresh in the chat, man.
This is the best.
Let's go! Woo, let's go! We did it!
Hey man, W fresh in the chat, man. No man, you lost.
Boys, we did it! We did it! He's got happy birthday! We told Twitch! Don't go to your face! Let's go!
Yo, Fresh is being so passive aggressive. Fresh is being
really
and you can already see like this partnership with theirs is not gonna last.
Oh no.
Myron's already started a podcast with other people. You can see the way that they're talking. You can see Fresh resents him for how he got the YouTube thing demonetized.
Yep. Fresh is pissed about that, and he's pissed about the Twitch bans, and he's pissed about the whole like Jew thing and the conspiracy theory thing, and like this is Ava's right. This is not going to continue much longer.
And how he insists on doing all these other topics, and you could see Myron's looking at him like, bro, I carry this show. How you gonna get us banned on anything? Like you could look at this dynamic and you could tell 2 to 3 years from now, this shit not gonna last.
No, well, 2 years. I give this like 6 months.
3 years.
Yeah.
2 to 3 years.
Oh yeah. This passive aggressiveness.
Oh, less than that.
Woo! Platform. Fuck these platforms, bro. Fuck YouTube. Fuck Facebook. Fuck Twitch. We love Rumble, though. That's all we need. Next topic. Next topic, please.
He's repeating everything.
Yeah, this is crazy.
He is just going all out. He's like, he's just like, he's constantly just saying all the shit that got them banned just to be, what's it called? Just to be a shit disturber. I wish Killer Instinct was on PlayStation. And if Steam was accessible with voiceover, I would totally play it. Oh, Preach is dying. Preach is dying.
I don't know why that's so funny. What?
Listen, I take full responsibility and accountability for being real on camera. And if you don't like it, go to Soy Tune and
I take responsibility for being real on camera. Dude, you are so not real. You are so fake. You are just. Oh my god. Oh my god. How can you say that with a straight face?
And stay over there. Here comes the club. We keep it real. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit.
Hey man.
Just keep it
Bro,
real.
free speech is real.
I wish I was allowed to record that moment, bro.
Yeah, but you guys do realize like that's literally I'm looking right. I looked at the thing. Go look at it on my computer. It literally says for hateful speech. Derogatory.
Oh, it's fine though. We don't talk anyway. Listen, you know what? We'll reset in 7 days, and we won't say the word.
Yo, this is funny.
How about that?
Mark, dead ass, bro.
Wait, we reset in 7 days, and we won't say that one word.
We'll reset in 7 days and we won't say that one word. Yeah, no, dude. It's not just that word. It's the content on the way that you carry yourselves. It's the way that you guys act.
But continue on the same way. Deal?
Yo, this guy is big. According to a pattern I already know, he wants to punch somebody in the face. But he wants to say it, but he's not gonna do it.
Deal?
You want to try again?
Let's try again. Listen, I didn't hold back. I was supposed to hold back.
Yo, Mario was dead ass, though, bro. Oh shit.
Level 10 hype train? We got hype, bro.
Only Council Club getting this one.
Yo, this is actually good for us because we're keeping it real.
Club getting this though.
Come on, bro.
This is actually good for us because we're keeping it real. Hey, dude, I'm just keeping it real. Gee, I thought keeping it real was like something that we said like 20 years ago. Hey man, I'm just keeping it real, dog. Like, wasn't that... Are we going backwards?
You're not proud of me?
You just know that these guys.
Yes.
Sorry. Just so you know, there's CNIB canvassers around town.
Okay.
But they're not really CNIB canvassers.
Oh no.
They're asking for direct cash, and they're looking like crap, and yeah. They've been described as looking scruffy.
Oh.
So I kind of put a comment underneath saying that you and I are not affiliated with any of this shit. Like, if anybody comes up claiming like you or like they're funding because someone apparently said they're funding for a blind person.
Oh no.
So I'm just letting you know ahead of time before I forget, because I'm gonna go pass out.
Okay.
You bet.
That's fucking bullshit. That is some bullshit right there.
Guys talk shit about each other when they're not around.
Yes.
This kind of passive
100%,
aggressiveness,
100%.
you can feel it.
100%.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
100%. Because
Oh,
he just went off on this tangent and everybody was in on it. They know exactly. They've been talking about that. So it's probably since the demonetization, I don't know. I've never been demonetized, so I don't know how to say that word. But anyways, ever since they got demonetized, and he's not taking it. He's like, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. He doesn't. The way he acts, everything is cool.
Yeah.
I don't think the team, and
I will say, people always talk about Fresh being the stupid one, but even he could see how fucking dumb this behavior was. So you have to give him credit because, even though he's wrong on most things, and even though he is a trick, and even though he doesn't pretend like he's not, this is one thing that he's just not wrong on.
No.
That really was dumb, and it cost him millions.
It did. It really, really did. Fresh is... I hate saying that Fresh is right, but Fresh is right.
And even though this podcast would not exist without Myron and all the work that he's put in, you could also see that Fresh would have never made some of the mistakes that Myron made. And that's okay to acknowledge
right?
that. But they resent each other.
Hello, Michael.
He resents Fresh because he doesn't feel like Fresh contributes enough. And then Fresh resents him because he thinks he makes dumb business decisions that cost him and they're both right. So, it's interesting to watch from the outside.
It is.
It's a little entertaining.
It's funny.
the team.
It's very funny to watch. It's forth and back and forth with each other. Oh, look at that. We're at the 56-minute mark already. I'm going to quickly go to the washroom. So I will be right back. You guys get yourselves a fresh drink. and share the stream, and consider hitting up that Streamlabs link in the pinned in the chat. I will be right back. Okay. We are back. And we are ready for some more things to watch. So we're going to learn about P. Diddy's lawyer next. Oh my goodness. We're going to learn about P. Diddy's lawyer next and see why he is a clown. Charlie's going to tell us, from Moist Critical's going to tell us about it.
I'm following the Diddy case very closely. I think this is a super serious one that's up there with like the same level of Epstein almost. And in following the case so closely, where I have peepers on it at all times, I'm also following his lawyer pretty closely. So I've watched every interview that his lawyer has done. Good old Mark, a real patriot. The majority of what Mark says is just boilerplate standard lawyer lie speak, just a bunch of babble where when confronted with questions, just basically deflects it or reshapes it. So if he's confronted with a question about the case, he will do his best to steer it differently. So in one interview, someone asked him point blank what he thinks about the video that shows Diddy beating the shit out of a woman.
Oh, yeah, Cassie. That one. The video of him beating Cassie.
And he says, yeah, that's bad. He basically just says, like, it's not good, you know, beating women,
All is
boo,
well, yeah.
I'm not a fan of that. But we have to remember, he's not being indicted for beating women.
Nope.
Wow, Mark, checkmate. Right,
He's
you
not
are.
being indicted for beating women. Oh, wow. Good one there, Marky boy.
Women. Wow, Mark, checkmate. Right you are. We do need to keep that in mind. Surely this video evidence of P. Diddy beating the shit out of Cassie has nothing to do with anything else.
Nope, nothing at all.
You've nailed it there, Phoenix, right? You're a real shining star, Mark.
It's just a one-off. It's completely not a thing to worry about. It's just, you know, he's don't worry, he's not indicted for that.
And that's kind of what he does. He'll take things, be like, oh yeah, no, beating women, not good. But that is not what he's indicted for. In fact, they're coming after him for sex trafficking. Can you believe it? What nonsense. It's ridiculous, and we're gonna prove it in court. We'll give him the razzle-dazzle, a little bit of that slam jam, thank you, ma'am, and prove...
We'll give him the old razzle-dazzle, razzle-dazzle.
Prove that P. Diddy is an innocent man. It's a bunch of fucking nothing. A giant nothing burger with the way Mark talks about it. I know he knows that P. Diddy is guilty, but he's about to get a fat paycheck for it. So there's not a whole lot I want to talk about when it comes to Mark's interviews or statements, but there are... So Mark's been getting asked a lot about the baby oil.
Okay.
Mark has to defend so many awful, fucking heinous, and downright weird things for his client, and he has to defend all of them, mind you.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, why does your client have, like, literally 80 gallons of baby oil in one house? Oh, well, that's, you know, anyone could have that much baby oil, Your Honor. It's completely normal. Don't you have 80 gallons of baby oil at your house, Your Honor? It's, quite frankly, I have 180 gallons, Your Honor. Diddy is skimping on the baby oil, sir. You know, like...
Which includes the fucking baby oil. And the way that he tries to defend it is so silly. He is a fucking amazing clown. So if, like, this whole lawyer thing doesn't work out for him, or if he wants to retire and just, like, do something on the side, this dude absolutely needs to get into, like, honking his nose professionally, because this...
What an image. What an image, Charlie.
Shit is great.
They called them freak-offs. But, you know, back when I was a kid in the late 70s, they were called threesomes.
If these are...
He did not just do that. Oh my god, that's not... Dude. They're not talking about threesomes. They're talking about, like, orgies. Some of which had people that didn't want to participate.
Genuinely threesomes. How do you explain 1,000 bottles of baby oil?
I don't know where the number 1,000 came.
The U.S. Attorney said it.
I can't
Fucking Harvey Levitt.
Imagine it's thousands. I mean, you know.
There's already so much to unpack there. He is trying, with a straight face, to say that the freak-off parties are just threesomes. Brother, open your eyes. There are videos from some of the freak-offs, and it's a lot different than what you're trying to paint it as here.
Yeah, there's no way that these are just simple threesomes. He's a lawyer. Yeah.
It's just so disingenuous and delusional. I get that it's his job, but man, don't insult the intelligence of every human being on the planet. It's just one Google search away. You can see. It's not just threesomes, and Goober here is trying to pull the wool over your eyes by trying to convince you that it's just threesomes. Well, back in my day, we used to call that a threesome. Now all of a sudden it's a freak-off or some shit.
It's like, dude, no. They're not threesomes. Oh my god.
Come from? That's a fucking fake news fib right there. And the interviewer's like, no, that came from the attorney. Like, no, that's the official statement. He's like,
yeah, that's the USDA, dude. That's not a fake news.
No, they must be lying. Surely they're lying about that.
And I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant.
I don't know what the baby oil has to do with anything. Well, they're saying it's, you know, a lubricant. I don't know why I have to explain this to you.
For an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way. I don't know what you need 1,000 for. I mean...
That's why you're his lawyer, dude. You're supposed to have the answer for that. Oh my god.
He has a big house. He buys in bulk. You know, I think they have Costco's in every place where he has a home.
You can see.
You know, he's got a big house. He buys in bulk. I'm pretty sure they have a Costco everywhere he has a house. You know, it's normal. You know? You only crack into that 1,000 bottles every so often, because one bottle goes a long way. You fucking dolt.
See the cogs in his brain turning in real time as he starts to come to the realization that there is no way to try and justify or explain away 1,000 bottles of baby oil. That quantity is absurd, unfathomable even. And he starts to like break it down, and he starts to go like and argue against his client, like,
right?
1,000 bottles of baby oil? That just doesn't make any sense. Who would possibly need that amount of baby oil? Do you know how much mileage you can get out of a single bottle?
Yeah, I know, right? The lawyer's like arguing against his client all of a sudden. It's like, hello?
The best he could come up with is saying that since his houses are close to Costco, he's probably just buying it in bulk. I decided to look it up, just out of curiosity, what the biggest bundle of baby oil you could even buy in bulk is, and the biggest pack that I could find was 5.
A 5-pack of bottles of baby oil. He would have to have bought fucking 200 5-packs of baby oil. Just, oh my god.
A 5-pack of baby oil. He would need 200 packs of that. Just picture that for a moment. Imagine them on top of each other. From bottom to top, it'll probably be about as high as a small office building.
It would. It would.
Like, that is crazy. And you're going to sit there in front of God and anime and try and make the claim that the freak-offs are just threesomes and the 1,000 bottles of baby oil is unrelated somehow or used for threesomes.
Yeah. Used for threesomes and he only has to get one bottle out at a time. You know how fucking long it would take a normal person to go through 1,000 bottles of baby oil? They would probably be like a senior citizen by the time they got to the end of that fucking supply.
Like, Mark, please, brother, oh my god.
I mean, have you sat in a parking lot of a Costco and see what people walk out of there with?
Not 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
I don't think it was 1,000. I think it was. Let's just say it's a lot. Okay.
No, that's not okay, Mark. Why don't we use the actual U.S. Attorney's report on how much baby oil they confiscated from his...
Let's just say it was a lot. Let's just... I don't think it was 1,000. Let's just say it was a lot. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Property. You can't just wipe your ass and throw that number away because it makes your client look like an even bigger psychopath. You can't do that,
Mark. There's one chap who definitely knows what baby oil is used for. You probably had a coupon.
I've been with him since 8 o'clock this morning, and it's about almost 3 o'clock now. He's just laser focused. He's engaged. He's helpful. He's confident. You know, we're going through our defense as we do.
Call him love. Which persona is he this time? Is he Puff? Is he Puff Daddy? Is he P. Diddy? Is he Sean Combs? Is he Sean Diddy Combs? Is he Daddy? Is he Love? Is he Puff Daddy?
Every day. And his spirits are relatively good.
Hey Mark, I just want to say that information does not make me happy. I don't want to hear that P. Diddy is in good spirits. He shouldn't be. That guy is an absolute fiend. He's a villain. He is evil. I don't want to hear that he's in good spirits or having a positive outlook on things.
No, I don't.
I want to hear that he's fucking miserable, because that's what he deserves.
Yeah, I want to hear that he's like begging to be let out of the jail and like, please God.
What he's done for the last few fucking decades, that he has been terrorizing the entire music industry and ruining lives. So Mark, your reporting right there actually put a frown on my face. You know that? I want you to know that.
How do you explain the baby oil and the lubricants? 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
I don't think it was 1,000. I think it was a lot. I mean, there's a Costco right down the street. You know,
Oh my god, he's still going with the fucking Costco! Holy shit!
I think Americans buy in bulk, as we know. And, you know, this is consensual adults doing what consensual adults do. You know, we can't get so puritanical in this country to think that somehow sex is a bad thing because...
We're talking about sex trafficking. That is not consensual.
If it was, there'd be no more people.
He's really sticking to the Costco theory here. Just sit outside of Costco and look what people come out with. It's crazy stuff. I'm sure he's not the only person to walk out of Costco with 1,000 bottles of baby oil. That's definitely the normal thing that happens. And then he tries to put a spin on it that it was consensual adults engaging in sexual activities. Mark, one of the big things about the freak-offs is the non-consensual nature of some of the shit that P. Diddy would force the guests to do.
Yeah. With sex workers. Brought from across state lines.
It's like a crucial component of this. And I understand, like, he can't go out there and say anything like that, but the evidence is overwhelming. So I just don't, I hate hearing lawyers speak about a case in a situation like this where the client they're defending is clearly guilty, because then you can just see the lies spilling out of their mouth, and it's just an awful thing to even just look at. But he then does try and put, like, that last little bow on it by saying, like, oh, we can't be like this. We can't be all yucky about hearing about sex.
How dare you be puritanical about a guy, you know, sex trafficking and beating people and coercing people into things they don't want to do. You know, you can't be puritanical when it comes to that stuff. That's just not okay. You know, like, oh, fuck off, dude. Like, you can't possibly be that deluded. You seriously can't be that deluded. Out of absolute, just, I can't believe he's, as a lawyer, even a defense lawyer, he's that smarmy. And yes, I use the word smarmy. Right. It is time for us to jump into our politics. So, the Bloc Québécois have decided to give the Liberals an ultimatum that they have until October 29th to pass the old age security bill. And I'm thinking that they are going with October 29th because they don't want to have an election the day before the Americans do. Also, they don't want the conservatives to topple the government. They want to topple the government because that's what the Bloc Québécois does. That's how they are. I must be doing my shopping wrong. I have a Tesco's at the end of my road, but I don't have a single bottle of baby oil. Oh, well, yeah, you must be. You must be doing it wrong then. Oh, my right. Let's, so yeah, the Bloc Québécois have got this stupid ultimatum going. So we're gonna pop over here. And apparently things got interesting in question period today. They're tabling another vote of no confidence. The Conservatives are. So we're gonna take a look at this. This is a 47-minute video. We're gonna take a listen. And things get interesting.
Oral questions. Questions orales. L'honorable. The Honourable Leader of the Official Opposition. Mr. Speaker, who could be against the following motion, that given that for 9 years the government has doubled housing costs, taxed food, punished work, unleashed crime, and is the most centralizing government in Canadian history.
All of which are true, by the way. If you look at any of the statistics you will see that this is true.
The House has lost confidence in the government and offers Canadians the option. The Honourable Minister of Public Services and Procurement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Conservative leader has a major problem. He claims to be the greatest expert in the world on monetary policy, but he didn't even read the beginning of the first chapter of Economics 101, which says that the basic rule to avoid inflation and to have the central bank reduce inflation is to not interfere with the central bank. When is he going to apologize for being both an expert and the most incompetent of all the monetarists in the world?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
At least someone over there thinks about monetary policy. Mr. Speaker, who could be against the following motion? That, given that, after 9 years, the government has doubled housing costs, taxed food, punished work, unleashed crime, and is the most centralizing government in Canadian history, the House has lost confidence in the government and offers Canadians the option to axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime.
Now, this is, like I said, this is a confidence motion based on not policy, based solely on whether or not there is confidence in the government and in Justin Trudeau after 9 years of the way he has behaved and the way that he
the Honourable Leader of the Government in the House of Commons.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There's a very simple answer to his question as to who's opposed to that motion. Canadians.
The Honourable Member for La Prairie. The Liberals have until October 29th to improve OAS for those aged 74 and under and to protect supply management. They need to pass Bill C-319 and Bill C-282. Why these two measures? Well, first of all, because it's good for Quebecers, but also there's consensus in this House. The Liberals, the Conservatives, and the NDP have already agreed to this. So why leave Quebecers waiting when we could make gains for Quebec? Will the government meet our demands for seniors and farmers? Yes or no?
Why leave Quebecers waiting at all for an election that we all want? Like, have you guys looked at the polls? Holy crap, how can you guys be this dense? Have you not seen the polls and seen that people don't want this government anymore?
The Honourable Minister for Seniors. Mr. Speaker, the member for La Prairie is very, very behind when it comes to support for seniors. He voted against every measure that's been taken in this House, supported by members to help seniors, including the most vulnerable seniors in Canada. And I would like to know from the member for La Prairie, what does he say to the 6,200 people in his own riding who have joined the federal dental care program? What does he say to them when they ask him why he voted against that?
Do you mean the people who... What about the other people who already have dental through the province?
The Honourable Member for La Prairie. If they continue like this, they're going to have to answer... They're going to have to ask a lot of questions next year, Mr. Speaker. So, next October 29th... Maybe, instead of playing partisan games, this government should get to work. The Bloc Québécois is going to answer clear, positive, and have agreement in this House. The Liberals have a very simple choice. They could either help seniors and farmers, or they could choose to respond with things like that and sabotage their own government.
You're just as guilty. They only care about what the French want. Exactly. I don't understand why the Bloc Québécois is a federal party. I really don't. Nobody else votes for them but people in Quebec. They should just be a party that goes alongside the Parti Québécois.
Will they survive by helping Quebecers, or will they die by their partisan swords? The Honourable Minister of Public Services and Procurement. Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And indeed, the Bloc Québécois and other members in this House can choose to sabotage the efforts of the Canadian government to help seniors in his own riding. 7,400 seniors in his riding have signed up, and many of them are receiving for the first time, or the first time in many years, dental care. Accessible, affordable dental care. Investing in housing. Does he really want to associate with the Conservative leader who said...
Oh, yeah. Does he want to associate with the Conservative leader? The big, bad, nasty, horrible Conservative leader?
Says that Quebec's municipalities are incompetent and who wants to tear up our agreement with Quebec? The Honourable Member for Rosemont-la-Petite-Patrie. Mr. Speaker, Pascal, a single mother from Hull, wrote in an open letter, "I don't think I'll ever be able to buy a house. I'm afraid that my youngest child will never be able to own her own home. I can't change apartments. Rent has gone up so much since I moved in, and the housing costs in my neighborhood have gone up by over 150%. Mr. Speaker, the Liberals and the Conservatives themselves caused this housing crisis. Why do they want people like Pascal to pay the price?" The Honourable Minister of Public Services and Procurement. I'd like to thank my colleague, who is a strong defender of social and affordable housing in Quebec, for his question, but he knows, like me, to what extent the Conservative leader's policy would be damaging for Quebecers. He doesn't. He hasn't stopped attacking Quebec's municipalities. He's called them incompetent when they're in the middle of building 8,000 new affordable houses.
He's called the specific leaders incompetent for squandering the transfer payments.
Lodge units. The Conservative leader built 6 homes all the time he was housing minister.
The Honourable Member from Edmonton-Griesbach.
Another summer has passed and not one single home for Indigenous people have been built. The Liberals promised to deliver an urban, rural, and northern housing strategy. 2 years later, still no funding and still no shovels in the ground.
Of course not, because all they do is provide empty words and they don't care about Indigenous people.
Delay, broken promise after broken promise. That's the Liberal way. Meanwhile, First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people continue to live in moldy, overcrowded conditions or on the street. Why do the Liberals keep Indigenous people waiting for the homes they need now?
The Honourable Minister for Indigenous Services.
I am so proud to be part of a government that understands by Indigenous for Indigenous housing, and that's exactly what we're doing, Mr. Speaker, by launching the $4 billion urban, rural, and northern housing strategy. Already $300 million has been dispensed through an organization led by Indigenous leaders, determining how best to use those funds so that First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people have the kinds of housing and supports they need in every city in this country.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
So the council chiefs take all the money and fuck around with it.
I asked the government who could be against a motion pointing out that this government's doubled housing costs, tax food, punish work, and unleash crime to give Canadians the chance to axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. And she said, Canadians are against all of those things. If that's the case, then why won't she let them decide in a carbon tax election?
The Honourable Leader of the Government in the House of Commons.
Well, they didn't care about the natives till the graves turned out to be rocks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's a little sad that the Leader of the Opposition, having just lost a vote of non-confidence in the government yesterday, is putting forward the exact same motion today. I think it shows his desperation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
No, it shows just how broken that the government is, that it has to keep... We have to keep tabling these motions until you fall.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
No, in fact, the motion specifically demonstrates that this government, this NDP Liberal government, has doubled housing costs. I found it interesting that the NDP has now discovered that they doubled housing costs. A second ago, a Montreal MP stood up to point to a young woman, Pascal, who can no longer afford to rent much less to own, after housing costs have tripled in that city. When I was housing minister, rent was $700 in Montreal, and we built almost 200,000 units. Mr. Speaker.
200,000 houses built. Housing cost about $300,000 to $400,000. Rent was $950 a month for a 1-bedroom and $1,100 for a 2-bedroom. Like, now it's doubled everywhere.
Why can't the NDP put their actions where their words are and vote for a carbon tax?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Housing, Infrastructure and Communities.
These slogans are clever, but they are empty, Mr. Speaker. It's empty rhetoric on the other side as always. In fact, he should take a look at the CMHC's report from today that puts a spotlight on Montreal, 106% increase in rental construction. Why is that, Mr. Speaker? Because GST has been waived by this government.
Are those constructed rental units affordable? I bet they aren't.
To ensure greater supply, to incent builders during a difficult time. He has no idea how to incent that sector. He's good at running around the country and insulting mayors, putting a spotlight on the homeless, but coming up with no ideas on that. It's more right-wing populism. They have nothing to say, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Leader of the Official Opposition.
In a carbon tax election, if that's true.
Unfortunately, the Bloc Québécois is telling Quebecers, wait. If you can't pay your bills, just wait. If you can't buy a home, after 9 years of this Prime Minister, just hang on. If you're afraid of going out on the street because of crime...
Oh, Quebecers, are you struggling? Are you having trouble? Oh, just wait a little bit longer. Just wait a little bit longer, and then we'll topple the government on our own terms. It's fine.
That the Bloc Liberals have unleashed in our streets. In Quebec, a province that is at a breaking point because of immigration, they're just saying, hang on. Quebecers don't need to wait. They don't need to wait, Mr. Speaker. They need to choose a new government based on good common sense. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary. Mr. Speaker, the priority of our government is to deliver for all Quebecers and all Canadians, Mr. Speaker. That includes daycare spaces, a dental care program, historic housing investments, Mr.
Again, none of these, the daycare thing, the dental care thing, those are all provincial things.
In the meantime,
we don't need those.
What are the Conservatives concentrated on? Well, as we saw in the Journal de Montréal this week, Conservative MPs are being paid to go to Florida to sermonize on the importance of banning abortion and teaching creationism. You can't invent that, Mr. Speaker. They should be ashamed.
Even though members are not recognized on the floor and they shouldn't be speaking on the floor, I always invite them to be very mindful of the accusations that they make to other members.
Is it religion?
The honourable member from Kenora.
Taxes are up, costs are up, crime is up, and time is up after 9 years of this NDP Liberal government. People across Northern Ontario are struggling to fill their gas tanks. Young professionals cannot find an affordable place to live, and our communities are less safe. Mr. Speaker, these are all reasons why Canadians deserve a carbon tax election where they can vote for our common sense plan. But the NDP continue to support this government, Mr. Speaker, denying Canadians that opportunity. Why is this Prime Minister so afraid of facing a carbon tax election?
Because he knows he's going to lose.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Housing, Infrastructure and Communities.
They want to take away the rebate to Canadians. They'll have to explain that to Canadians, Mr. Speaker. What they'll also have to explain at some point, Mr. Speaker, is that they lost 800,000 affordable homes when they were in office. That minister, former Minister of Housing, who's now the leader of the opposition, went around, had no plan on housing, never mentioned homelessness once, and when it came time to vote in favor of ensuring zoning changes at the local level through federal dollars that would incent that change, he voted against. They all did. They don't care about those young people that the member just mentioned. They never cared. It's more right-wing populism, Mr. Speaker.
That's another line.
The Honourable Member for Charlebourg, Haute-Saint-Charles. Mr. Speaker, yesterday the Bloc Québécois showed its true colors by putting this Liberal Prime Minister on life support. They voted for a centralizing government that has a terrible record when it comes to public safety. Since 2015 in Quebec, the number of auto thefts has gone up by 185%. Violent firearms offenses are up by 146%.
Yeah. Gun crime is up, auto theft is up, assault is up, but, you know, everything is just hunky-dory, and, you know, the Bloc Québécois just wants to make everybody wait.
Do the government of the Bloc recognize that their policies have created a major public safety problem across the country and specifically in Quebec?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Public Safety.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about the investments we're making to make our communities safe. In fact, we are moving forward on banning some of the most dangerous weapons, over 1,500 assault-style weapons that are designed to kill. Mr. Speaker, the Conservatives get upset because they're sent here to do the work of the gun lobby. And
dude, we're not in America. And even there, that's not really the truth.
Instead of keeping Canadians safe, in particular women who are disproportionately affected by gun violence. Mr. Speaker, it's a shame for Conservatives to stand up while voting against these measures.
The Honourable Member for Charlebourg-Haute-Saint-Charles. Violence with firearms is up by 181%. But it's not hunters, it's street gangs with guns that are coming across the border.
Street gangs with handguns. Not, and fucking AKs and shit.
Money that's being invested should be at the border, and that's what a Conservative government will do. How can this government explain this weakness, and why are they still attacking hunters? The Honourable Minister of Canadian Heritage. Mr. Speaker, I would invent my colleague to be honest with Quebecers, because he knows very well that it's not the weapons of hunters that are being banned. It's assault weapons that are designed for war, Mr. Speaker, and which are being used by street gangs to murder. And my colleague should know very well that the first victims, they're the main victims of gun violence across Canada and in Quebec are women. So if he's against our assault weapon ban...
Criminal gives a shit whether you ban an AK-47 or not?
That's particularly shameful, particularly in Quebec after Polytechnique.
Oh. For those of you who don't know what Polytechnique is, hey there, Jordan. There was a school, a college in Montreal, and it was called L'École Polytechnique, and there were, I think, 11 women, nine, I can't remember. There were a number of women who were shot and killed in 1989, and this guy had, like, obviously he was crazy, and he hated women. Like, there was this whole manifesto and everything. It was this whole thing. But now they're bringing up Polytechnique to say that this gun ban is to shit on people who say this gun ban isn't going to work.
The Honourable Member for Shefford. Quebecers have told us time and time again they're worried about the cost of living and living conditions for seniors. Yep. That's why we presented our ultimatum for October 29th.
You shouldn't have presented an ultimatum at all. You should have just voted for the no confidence.
Liberals don't have the right to abandon seniors aged 65 to 74, given the rising cost of living. They need to end the two classes of senior citizenship that they've created. They need to stop discriminating against seniors, and they have until October 29th to do it. Are they going to meet our demand, or will they continue to defend this terrible record to voters? The Honourable Minister of Labour and Seniors. Mr. Speaker.
A 30-day ultimatum for the Liberal Party to play ball and do what you need them to do, which you know they won't. I have never heard of them, no.
14,600 seniors who are who live in my colleague's riding are today benefiting from the federal Canadian dental care program in her riding of Shefford. And yet she has risen in this House several times to vote against vulnerable seniors in her riding who are currently benefiting from this program and who are saving hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Why, Mr. Speaker?
Then I have
the honourable member for Shefford. Well, that's not the question, and the Liberals are going to soon realize that October 29th is coming quickly. In the meantime, can they show a sign of good faith to seniors and community organizations who are working with seniors? The Liberals can commit to agree with the government of Quebec and stop holding back funds for the Bien Vieillir Chez Soi program.
No, they won't show any good faith at all.
It's unacceptable that a fight created by the federal government to interfere in Quebec's jurisdiction is hurting organizations that are helping Quebec's seniors. Will they come to an agreement with Quebec and stop holding seniors hostage?
No.
Then I have
the Honourable Minister of Labour and Seniors.
No, they will not.
And that's not all. That's not all, Mr. Speaker.
That's not all,
When
Mr. Speaker.
we
brought
back the age of retirement from 67 to 65 years, what did the member and her colleagues do? They voted against that, Mr. Speaker. When we increased the guaranteed income supplement, a federal program that has helped hundreds of thousands of vulnerable seniors, the Bloc and my colleague from Shefford voted against that.
And did they vote against it because it was something they didn't want, or did they vote against it because we couldn't afford it at the time?
We increased OAS for vulnerable seniors. She and her colleagues voted against that, Mr. Speaker.
Again, was it in the budget? Could we afford it?
Then I have the honourable member for Berthier-Masquinongé.
The honourable member from Sarnia-Lambton.
After 9 years of these NDP Liberals, taxes are up.
Okay, here's where I wanted you guys to see this, because I want to. It's not in question period.
Crime is
where he
up,
got
and
censored.
time is up. The NDP leader made a big deal about tearing up the supply agreement with the Liberals and then flip-flop by voting to keep this Prime Minister in power. The NDP leader needs to end the costly coalition with the Liberals. People can't afford to eat. Ontario Food Banks just posted an 8-year high in usage. Canadians need a carbon tax election. Why is the Prime Minister so afraid to have one?
Because he's afraid to lose it.
The Honourable Minister of Families, Children and Social Development.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Of course, we all suffer when we know that there are fellow Canadians that are struggling.
Oh, give me a break with that whole martyrdom. I cry when I strike thee. We all suffer when one of our own is suffering.
We've made historic investments as a government to ensure that our social security net is strong for Canadians. Whether that's in $10 a day childcare, Mr. Speaker, whether that's restoring the retirement age to 65, Mr. Speaker. But let's not pretend that the Conservatives really care about helping Canadians.
I love how she's got this like calm, almost sad voice going on.
As if they did, they would be supporting these important measures that are helping.
The honourable member from Sarnia-Lambton.
Well, here's what they've really done. This NDP Liberal coalition has doubled the debt, doubled housing costs, taxed food, punished work, and unleashed crime in our streets. So instead of selling out Canadians by keeping this Prime Minister in power, the NDP leader needs to vote with common sense Conservatives for a carbon tax election. Why not let Canadians decide whether they want to have the carbon tax hiked by 61 cents a litre by the Liberals, or whether they want a government that's going to axe the tax, build Build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime.
Because they are, again, because they're terrified. That's their big issue. They're absolutely terrified of losing the little bit of power that they still have.
The Honourable Leader of the Government in the House of Commons.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the question is, why are the Conservatives so desperate for an election right now?
Because their constituents are begging for it?
Because they want to make sure they get out before Canadians understand that they have a hidden agenda. But, Mr. Speaker, Canadians are much smarter than that. When the Conservatives say one thing and do another, Canadians know. We trust Canadians. When will Conservatives start trusting them?
So wait, because the Conservatives want an election now to help Canadians, that means that they don't trust Canadians? Holy gaslighting, Batman.
The Honourable Member from Saskatoon West.
Mr. Speaker, after 9 years of this NDP Liberal government, taxes are up, costs are up, crime is up, and time is up. The Saskatchewan Premier said the carbon tax is, quote, costing Saskatchewan's health and education systems nearly $380 million.
So that's $175 million in healthcare for heating a hospital, laundry services, all that stuff, and then $200 million for the school systems to heat the schools and all that.
That's money that could be used for more teachers, more doctors, and more nurses. This NDP Liberal carbon tax is literally taking away teachers and nurses from Saskatchewan. Shame on the NDP for supporting this tired Liberal government. Mr. Speaker, if the Prime Minister wants to cut teachers and nurses in Saskatchewan, why won't he call a carbon tax election and let Canadians decide?
Because they don't think that Canadians are worthy of deciding. That's why. That is the biggest reason.
The Honourable Minister for Natural Resources and Energy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, I would encourage my Conservative colleagues to actually use facts. 8 out of 10 Canadians get more money back. It is an affordability measure. People who live on modest incomes actually benefit significantly. It's also an important way of fighting climate change. And if he wants to quote Scott Moe, I would say when Scott Moe appeared here in Ottawa and talked about the price on pollution, he said he looked at doing something else and everything else was too expensive.
So that doesn't mean that the carbon tax is a good thing. That just means that right now we're not contributing enough to the climate change problem to risk spending our money on taxing the crap out of our citizens for no reason.
So he wasn't going to do anything to fight climate change. I guess that's the answer of the Conservative Party of Canada.
The Honourable Member from North Island, Powell River.
Mr. Speaker, veterans taking part in the Invictus Games have found themselves on the hook for medical insurance. This comes as a shock since all serving military members have theirs covered under the Canadian Armed Forces.
So wait. People who are competing in the Invictus Games were having to pay for their medical insurance? That's kind of fucked up.
The Liberals created this mess, and now this one veteran has had their life changed after a serious injury provided during the previous games. Will the minister admit to this mistake and extend medical coverage to all Canadian Invictus athletes for the upcoming Whistler Games, or will they continue to ignore the needs of veterans?
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Invictus Games offers a very unique rehabilitation opportunity to ill and injured veterans and with a council for members of the Canadian Armed Forces.
Okay, so why are you making disabled and ill veterans that are competing pay for their medical insurance and not supporting them the same way that you are supporting serving members?
It's also important to make sure that the well-being of veterans is taken care of during the Games and also after the Games. That is why that we will continue to work with the Canadian Armed Forces, Soldier On, Invictus Games, and other stakeholders to ensure that the well-being of our veterans is always taken care of, and want to ensure this situation will be rectified before Invictus Games 2025. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member from Courtenay, Alberni.
Mr. Speaker, young Canadians are in survival mode, and rates of anxiety and depression have gone through the roof with the high cost of living and youth unemployment. Many are struggling just to meet their basic needs, like food and shelter, making paying for therapy out of pocket seem like a luxury. The Liberals promised to ensure...
It's true. Like, I got lucky finding therapy and a psychiatrist through the region where I am. Like, I got super lucky.
Mental health is treated as a full and equal part of Canada's universal public healthcare system, but they have failed to deliver. When will the government finally get serious about the mental health crisis and ensure all Canadians can access the mental health care they need when they need it?
The Honourable Minister for Mental Health and Addictions.
Healthcare, mental health needs to be part of the physical. What are the Invictus Games? So the Invictus Games is kind of like a, sort of like an Olympics for Canada's military forces, and they allow members that are serving, and also members who are veterans, to compete. So it's a way of like getting people who were injured and stuff back into the swing of things and getting them into the swing of like, you know, like competition, you know, to strive to better yourself and push for something after you may have maybe been injured in duty or you know, and then got medically discharged or something.
The member for his question, and I say as the Minister of Mental Health and Addictions, but also as a mother to 2 teenage daughters, that is exactly why in 2024, in this year's budget, we pledged $500 million towards the youth mental health fund, Mr. Speaker, working with community service organizations across this country. Youth-led for youth in every community across this country. We want to meet young people where they're at to get the supports and the services that they need and that...
Hello?
How's it going?
It's going. I wish I had coffee.
Well, unfortunately, that's not going to happen because you need to get some sleep anyway.
I know.
So if you have coffee, you're just going to stay awake. So once it rolls around, you should 1 1/4 this. Okay? Always 1 1/4. You should always 1 1/4 this shit.
They deserve.
I think they cut out the Polyev stuff.
You think?
Yeah, because it is not here.
Okay.
And...
Is he even there?
Not anymore.
He was there?
Yeah, and nothing happened.
That was the ejection then?
He didn't get ejected though.
Oh. Okay, then move on. If that's what we wanted to see, we were just waiting for Polyev. Now what is it, just dribble?
It's literally boring bullshit.
So then skip it.
And
you're in control of this, dear. This is the thing. You have control.
Well,
What have we said? We have agreed. If you're getting bored, chat is getting bored.
Well,
So, you can either end the stream in pain or find something funny that's there.
I'm gonna end the stream in pain and come back in an hour or so.
Okay, and then tomorrow we're gonna have a fun stream where there's no pain and lots of drunkenness.
Yes.
Maybe
So,
some nakedness.
I'll be back in about an hour to finish the chaos thing.
There'll be some nakedness, but not on camera.
Alright, I'll be back at about 9.